You hatch from an egg in the dead center of the Amazon rainforest. Right off the bat, you've got a massive problem. You're a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and this is definitively not where you belong. Now, technically, we should talk about atmospheric oxygen levels. Today, it's around 21%, whereas back in the Cretaceous, it easily cleared 30%. Realistically, you'd hatch and immediately suffocate. But let's slide past the hard science for a second. You're a T-Rex in the modern world, and here is your reality check. Your species evolved to hunt truck-sized megafauna across wide-open floodplains with miles of visibility. The Amazon? It's packed with micro-prey. This is the story of what happens when you drop the most powerful land predator in Earth's history into a jungle that never saw you coming. Act 1. The hatching. When your shell cracks, your very first contact with the outside world isn't the familiar, crisp, subtropical air your DNA expects. Instead, it's a suffocating, hyper-humid sauna. Your primal instincts scan the environment for the comforting ambient noise of your true home, the distant, haunting calls of duck-billed hadrosaurs, or the territorial rumbles of other rexes. Instead, you get a jarring, eerie silence, shattered only by the high-pitched screeches of capuchin and howler monkeys. As you try to take your first steps, you stumble over uncoordinated legs, planting your face directly into dense vines and ferns that completely choke out your vision past 3 feet. To make matters worse, the local insect population finds you within minutes. Swarms of mosquitoes assault every inch of exposed skin, and a single bullet ant bite delivers a spike of pain sharp enough to make you reel. Welcome to the jungle. Act 2. The caloric deficit. A few hours into your new life, absolute starvation sets in. Your predatory drive commands you to hunt immediately, but the only things moving around you are toxic tree frogs and birds that refuse to leave the high canopy. On your first official stalk, you spot an agouti, a oversized, fast-twitch jungle rodent. You bolt toward it, but the nimble mammal easily slips through the undergrowth, leaving you empty-handed. Frustrated, exhausted, and desperate, you finally manage to corner and swallow the only thing that didn't run, a jungle toad with a foul, nauseating chemical defense. Act 3. Raising the stakes. By age 2, you've hit the size of a large dog, and the surrounding jungle finally starts recognizing you as a lethal threat. During a tense standoff near your nesting site, you lock eyes with a young jaguar. Both apex predators freeze, completely motionless, trying to comprehend what the other creature even is. After a long, silent calculation, the jaguar decides the risk isn't worth the reward and backs away into the brush without a fight. But your environment remains aggressively hostile. The foliage is so dense that every single step you take acts as an acoustic alarm, broadcasting your position to the entire forest. Survival forces you to adapt, so you begin using the Amazon's vast river networks as literal highways. They are the only spaces open enough for you to move freely, and they act as natural funnel points for prey coming down to drink. However, massive tropical ticks wedge themselves between your thick scales, and every sip of river water becomes a high-stakes gamble with exotic parasites. But tracking down water isn't optional. It's a daily necessity. Act 4. Weight class shift. By age 5, the paradigm shifts completely. You are no longer potential prey. You are the living, breathing boogeyman of the entire continent. You now measure between 16 and 20 feet long and weigh in at a solid imperial ton. The entire ecosystem realizes the rules of the game have been violently rewritten. You are officially the largest land animal in South America. Because the local wildlife has zero evolutionary memory that screams, "Run for your life," when they see a theropod, your initial encounters are bizarre. Animals attempt to use standard intimidation tactics that are laughably useless against a giant. Case in point, you follow the scent of blood and stumble upon a massive, 220-pound alpha jaguar standing over a fresh tapir carcass. The jaguar snarls, arches its back, and bares its teeth in a masterclass of jungle aggression. You completely ignore the theater and effortlessly hijack the kill. The jaguar can only stand by and watch its hard work disappear down your throat, fully aware that a physical confrontation means instant, crushing death. Act 5. The Black Caiman Incident. While wading through a deep, muddy stretch of a major tributary, your most violent test arrives without warning. A brutal force slams into your leg, and razor-sharp teeth punch deep into your right thigh. It's a black caiman executing its signature, bone-snapping death roll. The problem? Its target weighs a ton and refuses to budge. The caiman made its calculations based on its history as the undisputed king of the water, a monster accustomed to crushing capybaras and jaguars like twigs. It realizes entirely too late that it just bit an armored biological tank that treats the ambush as a minor, violent annoyance. You lower your massive skull, clamp your jaws around the caiman's midsection, and unleash a fraction of your catastrophic bite pressure. The reptile's osteoderms shatter, its internal organs rupture under the strain, and it releases your leg in a dying reflex. You effortlessly drag the half-ton carcass to the muddy bank and dismantle it for lunch. Act 7. Absolute Dominance. By age 10, the power dynamics of the Amazon have been settled for years. You have cemented yourself as the ultimate apex predator, a title that is never contested because there isn't a single living creature capable of stepping into the ring with you. At this stage, you've stretched to nearly 8 meters long and tipped the scales at roughly 2 tons. However, absolute dominance is a trap. All it means is that you have top priority over a food supply that simply doesn't exist in the massive volumes your multi-ton metabolism demands. The local wildlife has adapted to your presence. Tapirs have shifted to strict nocturnality, and capybaras travel in hyper-vigilant megaherds. This crippling scarcity forces you to pivot heavily into scavenging. You are forced to rely on your world-class sense of smell to detect rotting carrion from miles away, routinely bullying other predators off their kills just to secure the hundreds of pounds of flesh required to keep your massive engine running. Act 8. The Silent Killers. When you break down what will actually end your life in this jungle, it becomes crystal clear that it won't be a dramatic battle with another monster. It will be the environment itself and the slow, agonizing accumulation of problems you can't fight your way out of. A simple, deep wound from a scavenged carcass could easily fester into systemic sepsis, shutting down your organs one by one. A single bad slip on a muddy riverbank could break a leg, instantly transforming you into a starving, immobile giant incapable of hunting. Your very presence has radically disrupted the local ecosystem. Prey populations have cratered and rival predators have fled, creating a ghost town around your existence. But this unforgiving environment will completely reset the exact second you pull your last breath. Because you are the only one of your kind, you leave no legacy, no bloodline, and no descendants. Your entire existence boils down to a countdown clock. How long can one lone titan resist the grinding friction of time? Act 9. The Final Verdict. The ultimate verdict is absolute. Can a Tyrannosaurus Rex survive in the modern Amazon rainforest? Yes, it can. You've already proven it by carving out a brutal decade of existence, and you could probably keep pushing for a few more years if disaster doesn't strike. But can you thrive? Absolutely not. Your food situation is a permanent, high-stakes tightrope walk. Your health is on a steady, downward trajectory, and you are winning every single physical battle while systematically losing the long-term war against tropical disease, heat exhaustion, and starvation. You rule this jungle because you are the undisputed king of destruction. But the ultimate challenge was never a test of muscle. It was the severe lack of mass-scale calories and your body's inability to process extreme tropical humidity. At the end of the day, being able to kill everything around you doesn't mean nothing can kill you back. It just means nature is playing the long game, patiently stacking the deck against you until your time finally runs out.